Hey YouTube model builders, this is my second update on my Finish It in February build. I've been working on finishing the corrections on the bottom of the service module. After the stacked sheets of styrene dried, I marked where the corners need to be trimmed and then took them down on my belt sander and cleaned them up. Then test fit the piece and determined the size of the hole required to expose the exhaust base. Then found the center of the piece and marked out the opening required with my circle template. I drilled out the hole on my drill press with the largest bit I have, and then I had to file and sand it out to get to the final size. You can see from up there, I think the edges touch where they need to. It kind of looks the way it's supposed to. The other thing, you'll see on the references, in these two corners it has that piece that it kind of slopes up, a horseshoe shape on each of these. So what I think I'm going to do to create that shape, go to the spares, my gas tanks. So using that nose, kind of do that so it comes up, and then cut that off there, and that'll give me that horseshoe shape in that corner. These corners will have these. Okay. This corner is going to be rounded and smoothed over, and then this corner remains flat. I went all the way around the piece with sanding sticks and a file to round over the edges and smooth out that corner. I have this kind of where I want it prior to putting these on the ends. Again, these are going to go like this. As I look at the references, I'm not happy with these gaps. They shouldn't be there. This should be flat onto the bottom, because I'm thinking if I have to fill these gaps, it's not going to look right. This is a flat piece and it's flat to the surface. So rather than fill these gaps and have this look uneven, I think I'm going to cut this whole bottom off. And then what I'll do is, take this piece out of the middle and you'll see that showing up through the bottom. And then I'll replace this with a flat sheet styrene. Yeah, that looks almost exactly right. I carefully cut off the bottom panel with my razor saw and miter box. Then marked out the new piece on sheet styrene and cut it out with my large, sharp scissors. Next, I cut out the old bottom panel with the exhaust attachment point on it, then sanded that down from the bottom and trimmed away the excess to yield just that attachment point. Something like that. And now, no more gap, right? So I'm using those circular markings to determine how far onto the part the gas tank halves should go to represent those raised corner structures. Then I marked the gas tank halves and cut them with my razor saw and the miter box. After test fitting them, I glued them in place with Tamiya thin cement and did another test fit with the exhaust part. Okay, so now that I realize that this is wrong, I gotta get rid of it. As you can see here, it's on the opposite side of where the hatch door is. So, follow the same procedure you've seen me do before. Tape around it, sand it down. And then same thing here. I'm going to take this one down, and even if it is in the same spot, I'm actually going to make a new piece that's going to, once these two are matched up, that's going to lay on there and look more like the reference. So again, I taped around the section to be removed and sanded it off. Next, I used tester's putty on each side of the gas tank halves to smooth out those raised areas in the corners of the bottom part. Alright, let that dry. Next, I clamped the new bottom panel to the bottom of the service module and glued it in place with thin Tamiya cement. These holes need to be drilled out. So I poked starter holes with my pin again, and then I went around and drilled out all the yaw and pitch control rocket openings with my pin vise drill and the appropriate sized bits. As you can see on the references, this capsule is extremely shiny I'm kind of toying or debating with myself. I have not used bare metal foil in forever. And I have some chrome and ultra bright chrome, which I guess I would go with that, or the Alclad 2. So this polished aluminum, this is probably what I'll use on the base, the lower portion. Chrome. So I might have to do some spray tests and or test with this. The thing is, this is this is tough to work with, especially for a complex cone shape like this. Did an experiment with this. Hopefully you can see that. So the detail does show through. And then on this plastic tube, I just did a crosshatch, just, you know, with my knife, and you know, it shows through, and it's nice and chromy. I think this will work. It'll just take a lot of patience. This is a viable option. And I have an entire sheet, kind of plenty to work with here. So it's a viable option. I'm testing the Alclad on some spare, you know, styrene. I laid down the base. I'll have to wait till tomorrow till that fully dries to try the chrome, and then I'll make a decision. The next thing I'm gonna do is I have some clear plastic here. Start cutting out and shaping for the windows to go from the inside. Okay, so here's my test for painting or covering the capsule. This is the Alclad. This is the black base, and this is Future Floor Wax underneath it. And the black base looks chromier, shinier, but you just can't beat that bare metal foil. And again, underneath here, I just did just a hashtag with a number 11 blade just to see how the detail would show through. It shows the detail nice, and it just looks more like the references, just really chrome. So I think I'm gonna give this a try. So that wraps it up for this update. So I pretty much got, you know, this base done the way I want it. I'm happy with the way this has come out. I think it looks, you know, obviously much better to references than the way it originally was. In the next video, I will finish up building the capsule and then building that umbilical that holds these two together, and get into painting it and or covering it. So in my next video, I will finish this well before the end of February. Okay, thanks for watching.